So this weekend is Mike Malott versus Gilbert Burns. This is going to be a shorter episode because there's just not as much going on in this card. It's kind of they kind of just stacked all the Canadians on this one and called it a good card. But if we're being real, like there's not a lot of movement that's going to happen in any division in this weekend. I mean, what is Gilbert Burns ranked? Maybe like 10 or something at welterweight. I'll have to check, but I'm pretty sure he's ranked barely in the top 10. So I guess it's maybe a good fight for Malott to get into the top 10. But yeah,
I think there's only 2 ranked fighters in this entire card. There's only 2 ranked fighters in this entire whole card. Like,
yeah.
At what point would you rather watch somebody who's from your hometown but is nut, or would you rather watch somebody who's like not from your hometown but is like entertaining and good? You know what I mean? So sometimes I think the UFC, they kind of like ult on like, we're some like spam people from the hometown. It's like, dude, like these guys aren't good. Like, do Canadians want to watch these guys? Like, I don't even know. Like half of them probably not.
I mean, I don't know. I think there's something there. Like if you have fighters who are from the same country as you, there's a part of you that's more naturally like inclined to want to root for them. I mean, we've talked about this before. Think about McGregor and Khabib, right? Like a lot of their fans were like the fact that they were the same race or religion or nationality as McGregor or Khabib raised the stakes for them. Like there were probably a lot of Muslim fans that were a lot more invested in that fight because Khabib is Muslim and McGregor was making that a part of like the promotion of it, right? And so, like, I understand from the UFC's perspective, if they're going to Canada, like, they're going to want to have Canadians there because they're probably more likely to sell more tickets if it sort of feels like it's a Canadian event where people can go there and, like, show support for their country or whatever. But I generally, like, to me, that doesn't really do it for me in terms of, like, raising the stakes and the entertainment value of it. Like, I would just rather watch 2 really good fighters fight each other. Like the most entertaining fight you can put on is the pound for pound number 1 versus the pound for pound number 2. Like that to me is like what would be the absolute peak of the sport right now, because you're watching literally the best 2 people in the world fight each other. And so the stakes, like they just don't get higher than that for me. So like, yeah, I would rather watch, I mean, for obvious reasons, I'd rather watch Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria because that's pound for pound number 1 and pound for pound number 2. But I guess my point is like, I would rather see a fight night where you have higher ranked contenders, but maybe they're not like relevant to whatever country or state or whatever that they're in. So yeah, I don't know. I guess, do you want to just start with the...
All right, now try to connect all of that to Gilbert Burns and Mike Malott. Yeah. Think about some Khabib and McGregor. Okay, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, 40-year-old Gilbert and dude, Mike Malott. They're trying to
He's
push...
34, dude. He's 34. I saw this video on YouTube. Either. Yeah, I saw this video on YouTube. It was like, this is Canada's best prospect. Dude is pushing 40. Like he's not. I wouldn't consider that to be a prospect at that point. Like I understand he's unranked, so when it comes to rankings, he's a prospect, I guess. But like he doesn't have that much time left in the UFC. I mean, he's 34. He's got a few more years, but really like. I think at this age is when he's going to start to kind of fall apart, like physically. That's what happened for Gilbert Burns, honestly. Or I guess Gilbert kind of more started to fall off in the last couple of years. Because his fight with Hamzat was crazy. And he's 39 right now, so he was probably, 35 or 36 at the time? So it's not terrible, I guess. But anyways, let's just talk about this fight. Mike Malott versus Gilbert Burns.
For sure. Okay, so my pick is obviously going to be Mike Malott because the age difference, I mean, I guess it's not that big, but I would say Gilbert is 40, but he's not aging really well. Mike Malott is 34, but until you told me, I thought he was 28. So it's like, I think Mike Malott looks very, very...
like he's aged, like he looks good for his age.
Exactly. But the thing that has to be said is his competition that he's fought is nowhere close to Gilbert. Everybody will say Gilbert, he's on a 4-fight loss streak. And you're like, okay, let's kind of zoom in on his record real quick. And you're like, okay, he lost to Bilal, champ. He lost to JDM, champ. He lost to Sean Brady, top 8.
Future title challenger. Yeah, he's a number 1 contender right now, basically.
And then he lost to Michael Morales, who was in the debate of getting a title shot. It's like, okay, he's lost to 4 people who debatably could get a title shot or have been champ.
Right.
And then we go to Mike Malott, and he's like, okay, he fought Kevin Holland and Charles Radke and Trevin Giles.
Right.
I mean, he looked good, even though the Kevin Holland fight, he like kicked the hell out of his nuts, and people got mad about that. And he debatably that could have been like a split decision loss, honestly, but without the nut shots. But because of his athleticism, you have to choose him. I can't make a case for Gilbert, but you know, the competition difference. But I don't know if Gilbert's chin is really bad. I mean, he's been dropped to jabs in so many fights, you know, but do I think Mike Malott's going to get a finish? I don't know. I mean, the way Mike Malott fought Kevin Holland, he went to decision, and that's a fight that everybody thought was going to be in the distance. And Mike Malott is minus 135 to get a KO in this fight. I'm like, that's really possible, but Mike Malott decision is plus 550, I think. I was like, ooh, that's pretty juicy. So, like, obviously Mike Malott's the pick, but I think if you're like betting on this fight, that's you got to get serious about kind of the path to victory. Is he getting a finish? Is he going the distance? There's a lot of money to be made there. Depending on what you do.
So I watched actually a lot of Mike Malott's fights just now before we started recording this, and I would say Mike Malott fights like somebody who has a lot of experience. That is one thing that you have to give him credit for. And actually, before he went pro, or at least before he went into the UFC, he was a coach at Team Alpha Male. So he has like a lot of good experience, and he's like kind of has more of like a coach's view of the game, which is like very strategic and thoughtful. And he's very well rounded. Like, he's good at managing distance, but also like when he gets into the pocket, he really throws. Like, he's really trying to like get a finish. You know what I mean? He doesn't go in there and just kind of swing his arms around. Like, it's different from someone like who's somebody who, when he gets into the pocket, you're not really like worried about them, or you're not really thinking like, oh man, they're in there to like really get their opponent out of there. I don't know, maybe Merab or something. Like, when Merab jumps into the pocket and trades, he kind of starts like swinging his arms around. You're like, he's not really like, none of these are really going to knock out his opponent. You know what I mean?
Aaron Pico against Lerone, he was kind of swinging pretty heavy in the pocket. For sure.
But Aaron Pico, like, I feel like Aaron Pico, when he trades in the pocket, it looks like one of those shots could put his opponent down. I mean, think about his fight with Pitbull. Like, there's probably like 3 times where he had him rocked really bad. I feel like Malott does a good job at that. Like, he really sits down on his punches when it counts, but he doesn't rush anything. He's good at managing distance. Like, he's kind of hard to hit clean. Even the one loss he has had in the UFC against Neil Magny, he was basically winning, like, he got subbed in like when there was like 15 seconds left, or he got TKO when there was like 15 seconds left in the third round, and he was basically winning like 14 of those 15 minutes. He literally just got caught in bottom position, like Magny got mount, and he just didn't have the energy to escape that position, and the ref had to step in. So yeah, it was like a mistake, but it wasn't like it was an awful performance from him. Like, he still looked really good in that fight. So, and honestly, I think, what does he do absolutely best? I like the fact that he throws multiple punches when he gets into I'm going to trade with you and really try and do some damage here. Like, he doesn't just throw 1-2s. Like, this is what I hated so much about the Curtis Blades Josh Hokett fight. Those guys were just throwing like really lousy not lousy, but like kind of sort of half-assed 1-2s, and everyone was freaking out like it was like the craziest thing they've ever seen. It's like, none of those punches are really going to, like, it just didn't seem like I wasn't ever like worried in that fight that one of those was going to like fold the other guy or something. Whereas when Mike Malott gets into the pocket, it looks like he's really trying to hurt his opponent, and he uses like a lot, like he'll throw 4 or 5 punch combinations. But I also really like his upper body takedowns. He's got really, really good. It seems to me like his takedown accuracy is really good. Anytime he attempts a takedown, he really like commits to it. He took Neil Magny down a handful of times. I think he took Kevin Holland down a few times. And his top control is also very good. He's very good at like smash passing. And he looks for submissions. So I really think he's pretty dangerous everywhere. I suppose like the one weakness I feel like I have seen in him is when he fought Neil Magny and he was in bottom position. So Neil Magny was basically like in his half guard and then to mount. It was like it kind of seemed like he lost his composure a little bit, and Neil Magny was able to get him out of there pretty quickly. And that's actually kind of scary against Gilbert Burns, because Gilbert Burns is a really good wrestler and very, very good jiu-jitsu, like a really good submission game. And that could be super dangerous against Mike Malott if he's not composed. So I kind of agree with you. I feel like Mike Malott is going to have a speed advantage against Gilbert Burns. He's probably going to be able to, like, if I'm going to say who's more likely to get hurt on the feet, it's Gilbert Burns for sure. Mm-hmm. But if Burns is going to have an angle on Malott, it's probably going to be somehow getting the fight to the ground. Or if, I don't think, is Malott, will he be able to take Gilbert Burns down? I don't know. I kind of doubt it. So if Burns is able to take him down, I think that could be a really good way for him to get the upper hand in this fight. But yeah, it kind of makes sense to me why Malott is such a favorite. Even though his level of competition has been lower, just like his technique, I guess, is kind of promising that it will translate well even against better competition. And Gilbert is definitely on his way down. Like, he's very much being used as a stepping stone at this point. In fact, I don't even know how many more fights he has on his contract. I wouldn't be surprised if like this fight or the next fight is his retirement fight, because he just doesn't look like he's really a serious contender for the title at this point. He just is too slow. He crumbles too much under pressure, which is something I'm kind of worried about. Like, Gilbert, when he fought Michael Morales, anytime Morales was pressuring him, he didn't look like he had any intent of like countering him. It was just kind of like cover up and hope for the best. And that's just like, it's a very, I don't know. It's a very like concerning way, like approach to like handling pressure that is a little bit like, it makes me a little worried for him in this fight against Mike Malott. So it definitely makes sense to me why Malott's the favorite.
For sure, yeah. And also, I do say that's in Gilbert's favor is that he has taken like an adequate amount of time off before this fight. Because you look at his record, he fights like 2 to 3 times a year pretty consistently. And then he lost to Michael Morales May 17th of 2025. And it's April. So it's been almost a full year. So like that could be good for him. Maybe being a little bit more like, I don't know, recharge or whatever you want to say. But my pick doesn't change for Mike Malott. I feel bad for Gilbert, man. Like, what are these matchmakers doing to him? Like, at this point, he's kind of old. He's barely in the rankings anymore. Like, at this point in his career, he should be fighting like Colby Covington. Like, you know, those are the fights that he should be fighting right now. Not, you know, champ after up and comers. I guarantee you, if he loses this fight, they're gonna give him Euros Medic. Guaranteed. Yeah. It's like at this rate, that's what they're doing to him. Like, dude, give him Jeff Neal. Give him a fight that he can win and have a competitive unk fight. Stop giving him these like young like knockout artists over and over and over. I feel bad for Gilbert, but that's just kind of the game. You know, once you get old, you get fed. It's just kind of.
And also, welterweight is just kind of like a really scary division right now. Like, there's just not really any way around it. Like, it's kind of hard to look at the list and be like, how can we be kind to Gilbert Burns and, like, pick a fighter in the top 15 that's good for him? You go down the list, you're like, okay, these guys are all killers. Like, it's just a tough division to be in when you're on the way out of your career.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. It's just going to look ugly.
Gilbert is also kind of in that unlucky spot where he's really in between weight classes. Like, he was also a guy that I'm pretty sure back in the day pushed for a 165 division because he was like, even though it's only 5 pounds, he is so undersized for 170. He's like, he's like 5'10", but he's not like, you know, he doesn't look like Kamaru Usman, you know? And then, but 155 he can't make. And so he's just like, he's forced to be an undersized 170 pounder. And, you know, it's tough, but I hope he does good. And like, maybe, you know, he could take a round, but I really don't see him winning this weekend.
I'd say, Gilbert is only probably like 5'9", maybe at welterweight, which is pretty short. I mean, there are featherweights or even bantamweights who are that short. You know,
Sean Woodson.
Sean Woodson, he's like 6 feet, and
no, he's like 6'2", dude.
Really?
At 145.
I think Mike Malott is probably like 6 foot. Yeah, he's 6'1", so he'll be quite a bit bigger than Gilbert.
That's scary, dude.
It is, yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, again, my pick would be Mike Malott. I don't really know if this fight. I could see this fight going the distance because Mike Malott, he's a good finisher, but he's not a finisher in the way that Khamzat Chimaev is a finisher or Ilia Topuria is a finisher, where every time they go in there, like at every moment, they're looking for an opportunity to finish the fight. It's more like he's good at taking advantage of moments that happen, but he does not rush finishes or force situations where finishes happen quite like those guys. So this fight definitely could go the distance. Like I think the fact that it's a minus 135 for him to get a KO is probably being overblown a little bit. So maybe the value really is on him winning by decision. But Gilbert submission or Gilbert, I would say Gilbert finish, because really he could finish the fight with ground and pound. There's probably decent value there too, because Gilbert's very, very good on the ground. And we've seen Malott struggle when he's in bottom position on the ground. He's a very good grappler though. Like don't be mistaken. His top control is incredible. His takedowns are very good, but he got a little flustered when he was caught in basically bottom mount in his fight with Neil Magny, and it cost him the fight and he couldn't get out of it. And there was like only a minute and a half left. And I'm like, dang, Gilbert would be able to get him out of there too if he was in that situation, because he's very, very good on the ground. So I would say Gilbert finish might be a super high value, and then Malott decision might be high value, but generally like Mike Malott's going to win this fight, I think. That would be my guess.
Yeah, it's fair to say. Okay, we can move on to Charles Jourdain and Kyler Phillips. Charles Jourdain he's really good. He's very fast. He's kind of on the cusp of being ranked, but at bantamweight, because he had a pretty decently sized career at featherweight. I mean, it's crazy. He's 30, but he's had like 15 UFC fights. You know, he's been in the UFC since 2019, but like a very active career. But he just went down to bantamweight, where he's more fairly sized, and so far he's been doing really good. His front chokes are really good. He has a really good guillotine. He's another one of those guys where he understands that like arm in guillotines are just they're easier to get, but they're not as effective as, you know, like a high elbow guillotine. And so because he understands that, he takes more time when he sets him up, and he usually gets the high elbow, and he's coming off of back-to-back guillotines, I'm pretty sure. Which is a pretty good feat in MMA. And Kyler Phillips is decent too, but he's coming off of losses. It's like Charles Jourdain coming off of 2 finishes, and then Kyler Phillips coming off of 2 decision losses. And so it's like you have one guy with momentum, one guy without momentum. And these losses are to Rob Font and Vinicius Oliveira, which are not, those are really good fighters. But generally, I'm taking Charles Jourdain to win by sub or decision, probably the double chance. I think it's like plus 100 because you know, Kyler Phillips has never been finished, but Charles Jourdain is on such a good submission kind of streak right now.
He's got momentum.
Yeah, and his instincts, like he's really jumping on stuff right now. He's really he wants to get finishes right now, and so I think the double chance is a good play here. And
yeah, I think okay. So you know what's kind of interesting to me? I'm kind of curious how this fight will play out. I could see this fight going the distance because. In the last few fights I've seen from both of these guys, like they're not really the type of people to lead the dance, if you know what I mean. Like they're not really the aggressors a lot of times. Like they can be aggressive, but I mean, think about when Charles Jourdain fought Jean Silva. Like I'd bet you the majority of that fight, Jean Silva was in the center and Jourdain was circling around the outside. Same thing when Kyler Phillips fought Vinicius Oliveira. He pretty much spent the entire time kind of running away from him because Vinicius Oliveira is so high pressure. So I'm kind of curious to see who leads the dance in this fight. Like who's going to be the one to take the center and actually like put the pressure on and sort of lead the pace of the fight. Something tells me it's going to be Jourdain because I don't know. I think Kyler Phillips is a little more like light on his feet. Yeah, he's got a little, I think there's some kind of like home field advantage in a way. Like it does kind of affect your morale. And I don't know. It just seemed like in the last time I've seen Kyler Phillips, he just looked a little bit more timid than Charles Jourdain did. And yeah, I could totally see him. I could see this fight going the distance for sure. But yeah, like you said, Charles Jourdain does have very, very good guillotines. Really good at setting them up and making the little adjustments. Sometimes guillotines are those kinds of submissions that you need to make like little adjustments as you attack it, and kind of like look for openings to like keep making it, sinking it in deeper. And he's good at that. So yeah, I agree with you. I think Charles Jourdain will probably win this one.
Not to mention too that it's kind of random, but Mike Malott also has a really good guillotine. I don't know if we mentioned
does.
that earlier, but
No,
he
he's
has
got
like
a good guillotine.
Yeah, really good guillotine. So, a lot of fighters with really good guillotines.
He's just a good
It's
grappler,
kind of
dude.
fun.
Mike Malott is really. I'm just impressed with his grappling. Again, I know it's a bit of a stain on his record that he lost to Neil Magny, and it was mostly like his inability to escape bottom position. But I feel like that was kind of unusual for him. Like generally, he's very good in the grappling department.
Yeah, I just wish he wasn't as much of a favorite. Like, there's just no value on him, if I'm being honest, from a betting perspective.
Yeah.
But okay. You didn't do any more like really notes going forward because this card is just kind of nut.
No, I've never. Okay, so the next fight is Jai Herbert, and who's his opponent again?
Mandel Nallo.
Yeah, I've never even heard of him. So, do you know anything about him? Can you tell me about him?
I just know more for the jokes that like he's just kind of blew up a little bit because his nickname is Rat Garbage. It's kind of random, but these people like it a lot. So he actually had a pretty like decent or like long career in Bellator. He had like eight fights in Bellator. He lost 3 of them by finish. So like when you have 3 losses by finish in kind of a B league organization, you know what I mean? It's a little bit of a senior record, but I'm pretty sure he had like a really impressive Dana White's Contender Series fight. But I'm looking at it right now, he's a minus 170 favorite over Jai Herbert. And I don't have like a super rigid, like, he's good at leg kicks and blah, blah, blah. I don't that kind of analysis for this fight. But generally from a rule of thumb, right? Fighters who have more experience at a higher level, Bulgari, Mansour Abdul Malik, and there was a couple other cases that happened recently, but it's more often than not they win the fight. That's just how it is. And Jai Herbert being a plus 150, and like, dude, this guy, like, as far as his experience goes, he fought Ilya Taporia. Like,
Yeah.
Jai Herbert, and I think Jai Herbert's actually really good. His record is only okay, but I mean, he's fought some pretty good people. He's fought Moicano, he's fought Ilya, he's fought Faris Ziam, who's ranked now
Really good.
and will probably be making a run at the title in the next
For sure.
two years, maybe. It's like Jai Herbert's fought a lot of really good people, and so I think this is a really good buy low spot in him. I don't know how he's an underdog. It's like Moicano Duncan right now. When I saw this, I was like, wait a minute, the guy that has as many fights as his guy, but in the UFC, I'm like, and he's the underdog. So I think picking Jai Herbert to win by decision or KO is a really good spot here. But I don't. That's not really like any like analysis, but I was just more like I wanted to point that out. But unless you have anything to say.